Have you ever tried to drive through a new city with no map, no GPS, just guessing where to go? It's pretty stressful, right? A little bit risky? Well, trying to run a business without a clear financial picture is pretty much the exact same thing. And that's why today we're going to talk about accounting as the ultimate GPS for your business. So let me ask you this straight up. Are you making decisions based on actual, solid data? Or are you kind of just winging it? I mean, relying on gut feelings can be a recipe for disaster, leading you down some really wrong roads and into a whole lot of financial chaos. And it all comes down to this one simple, powerful idea that sets the stage for everything else we're going to talk about. You just can't manage what you can't measure. It's impossible. Without the numbers, without the data, you are flying completely blind. Okay, so how do we get out of that chaos and into a place of clarity? Well, the answer is you have to learn to speak a very specific and very powerful language. And this is the core idea right here. Accounting isn't just about crunching numbers. It's a full-on communication tool. Think of it as the universal language that everyone, from the owners to the investors, uses to understand what's really going on with a company's finances. So here's the official textbook definition from the American Accounting Association. But let's not get bogged down in the jargon. Look at those key words. You identify, you measure, and then, this is the most important part, you communicate. The whole point of this entire process is to give people the info they need to make smart, informed decisions. So how does that happen? Well, it's a really clear, systematic process. First, you record every single financial transaction. Then you classify them, putting them into the right buckets. After that, you summarize all that data into reports. Then you analyze what it's all telling you, and finally, you interpret the results to figure out your next move. It's a really logical journey from just raw data to actual, actionable insight. But for any language to actually work, it's got to have rules. It needs a grammar, right? Otherwise, it's just noise. In accounting, these rules are called principles, and they're what makes sure the information is consistent, reliable, and something you can actually trust. We're going to look at 3 of the big ones, the absolute fundamentals. First up is the business entity concept. Then there's the money measurement concept. All that means is that everything has to be recorded in a common currency, like dollars. You can't just write down 2 trucks and 3 hours of work. Nope, you record their monetary value. It creates a level playing field for everything. And third, we have the dual aspect concept, which is basically the engine that makes all of accounting run. So let's dig into that first one, the business entity concept. This sounds simple, but it is so critical. Your business's money is not your money, period. All the business transactions are kept totally separate from the owner's personal bank account. This is huge because it prevents all sorts of confusion and gives you a true picture of the company's health, all on its own. Now, this slide right here shows the dual aspect concept in action. Just think of it like a scale that always has to be in perfect balance. Every single transaction has 2 sides to it. For example, say your business buys a new piece of equipment. Well, your equipment, what you receive, goes up. In accounting speak, that's a debit. But at the same time, your cash, what you gave away, goes down. And that's a credit. See, a debit and a credit, 2 sides of the same coin, and it keeps the books perfectly balanced every single time. All right, so we've got a language and we've got the rules. But so what? What's the big payoff for all this work? Well, this next part is all about that amazing shift from just having raw data to making really smart decisions. Because when you get right down to it, all this systematic work, all these rules and principles, they boil down to answering 2 absolutely critical questions. The kind of questions that pretty much every business owner loses sleep over. Question number 1, are we actually making any money? Accounting tells you your profit or your loss over a certain time frame. And question number 2, what's our overall financial health? That's your financial position. It's like a snapshot of everything you own and everything you owe at one specific moment. And here's the thing, when you have the answers to those questions, you are empowered. You're in control. You can really evaluate your performance. You can plan budgets that actually make sense. You can spot errors or even prevent fraud. You'll have what you need to go out and get a loan. And you can make sure you're staying on the right side of the law. It's a total game changer. And guess what? You're not the only person who needs this information. The financial story of your business is something that a lot of different people, we call them stakeholders, are reading very carefully. I mean, just take a look at who's paying attention. Owners and managers need this stuff for strategy. Investors are looking at it to decide if they want to put their money into your company. Creditors, like banks, needed to see if you're a safe bet for a loan. And yeah, the government needs it to make sure you're paying your fair share of taxes. This info is vital for everybody. All right, let's bring this all home. Let's talk about the ultimate takeaway. What does all this really mean for you and for your business? Here it is. Accounting isn't just another department. And it's not just some annoying task you have to get done. It is the absolute backbone of your entire business. It's the structure, the support system that lets everything else run the way it's supposed to. And that brings us full circle right back to where we started. Your financial statements, they're not just boring spreadsheets full of numbers. No way. They are the narrative of your business. They tell a story about its struggles, its victories, and its potential for the future. So the last question I want to leave you with is this. If your accounting really is the language of your business, what story is yours telling right now? Is it a story of growth, of stability, maybe of risk? The numbers, believe me, they will always tell you the truth.